We are taught that the frontier was conquered, that every mile of American wilderness was mapped, measured, broken by the wheel and the chain. But stand at the edge of the North Rim when the wind dies down, and you understand, the canyon isn't a monument to geology, it's a monument to omission. There are lines on modern topographical charts where the ink simply stops, not because there is nothing there, because someone decided we aren't allowed to look. Put your headphones on. Let's talk about what lies beneath the stone. April 5th, 1909. A story slipped through, printed in black ink, front page, Arizona Gazette. An explorer named G.E. Kincaid, alone on a raft down the Colorado, found something that shouldn't exist. A citadel carved into the canyon wall, copper instruments, steel weapons, tablets carved in characters unmistakably Egyptian. A Smithsonian archaeologist, Professor S.A. Jordan, sealed the site within hours. Then the line went dead. Decades later, when researchers approached the Smithsonian directly, the answer was absolute. No record of an explorer named Kincaid. No record of a Professor Jordan ever employed there. They didn't just deny the discovery. They erased the men who made it. But here's what nobody noticed for 60 years. Kincaid's coordinates, the ones he scribbled in the margin of his own field journal before it, too, went missing from the historical record. Don't match where the Gazette said the cave was. They're 11 miles east. Hold that number. We'll need it. A map is a contract. In the early 1920s, the U.S. Geological Survey began quietly removing names from the official charts, names etched into the stone by the first men who dared look down into the dark. The 1923 Bird's Eye Survey team didn't just find tool marks too straight for water. Their own logs complain of something else. Compasses drifting for no reason. Headaches that came on within 100 yards of the ravine and vanished the moment the crew walked away. Nobody wrote that down twice. It reads like men trying to convince themselves it was nothing. It's the first sign, buried in 1923, that whatever is under these peaks isn't just architecture. By the 1927 revisions, the anomaly notes were reclassified and moved to a non-public registry. Someone hadn't just changed the names. They'd edited the earth. Pilots crossing that exact corridor still report instrument failure. The FAA sealed it as a permanent no-fly zone in 1961, not to protect the airspace, to protect whatever the airspace was flying over. Late 1996, a USGS team pitches camp near the mouth of Marble Canyon, not to look at the rock, but to listen to it. 3 nights in, the needles stop recording a shift. They start recording a pattern, 2:14 a.m., 3 tones, repeating flawlessly, every 11 minutes. Lab analysis in Flagstaff confirmed it. The signal came from 3 kilometers down, inside solid basement rock. No fault lines, no magma chambers, nothing that should make a sound at all. By 1998, hikers near the bridge report vertigo after midnight. Not heard, but felt. A pressure in the chest. One journalist's tape recorder returned only static and 2 sharp knocks. Its housing melted the next day. The Hopi don't call it an anomaly. They call it the returning breath, the threshold where the first humans climbed out of a hollow underworld into this one. A civilization that fell before ours didn't disappear. It was buried. Here is the detail that the original documents never connected, because no one ever put the 3 maps in the same room. Kincaid's true coordinates, 11 miles east of where the Gazette placed them, the FAA's sealed no-fly corridor from Layer 2, and the acoustic epicenter the USGS traced 3 kilometers down in Layer 3, overlay them. They are the same coordinate, measured 3 different ways, 3 different agencies, 60 years apart, none of whom ever spoke to each other. If nobody in 1909, 1923, or 1996 knew the others had found the same thing, who did? Spring 1989. A geology student named Thomas Hale is hiking alone near the Marble Canyon boundary, inside the same triangulated sector. At 4:12 p.m., he radios his supervisor. Found a recess in the limestone, looks deliberately cut. Gonna take a quick look inside. He never radioed back. His sister gave one interview in 1994 before the family stopped speaking to press entirely. She said the last thing he told her on the phone the night before wasn't about the mineral survey. He said the compass in his truck had started spinning 3 days before he even reached the trailhead, while he was still 400 miles away in Flagstaff. The compass was recovered, cracked, not from an impact, from the inside. 2003. Ranger Daniel Ruiz joins an unsanctioned night search inside the same sector. His signed statement, filed before he resigned, describes compasses spinning, the rock vibrating underfoot. His flashlight bulb shattered the instant he turned to call his team. When he looked back, the wall was dark. Ruiz gave one statement, then never spoke of it publicly again. His resignation letter cites personal reasons. His file, when requested under public records law in 2021, came back with a single line unredacted, subject declined, debrief. 1956. The public record says routine core drilling for a proposed dam. One of the men who mixed that concrete gave a single recorded interview in 1998, 2 years before he died. His name was withheld at his own request. He said his crew was never told what they were sealing, only that they were paid triple wage, and told never to ask why the hole was already there when they arrived. He said one thing kept him up at night for 40 years. The hole wasn't drilled, it was found. Spring 2019. A flash flood tears away a section of the outer face. No steel rebar inside. A grid of obsidian black metal. No rust, no wear, no foundry marks. Its surface carries a microscopic, repeating pattern. The same 3-line wave formed the USGS sensors recorded in 1996. The same shape Kincaid sketched in the margin of a journal that no longer officially exists. They photographed the grid twice, 4 days apart. The pattern on the metal was not the same in both photographs. Nobody has explained how. Within 48 hours of the photograph surfacing, the beach was sealed under emergency closure. New concrete sprayed over the metal, burying it again. For 20 minutes, the easy read has been a cover-up. Men in offices deciding what the public is allowed to know. That's the story every one of these documents wants you to believe, because it's the story that ends the search. But look again at what actually connects Kincaid, the cartographers, the USGS, and the men who poured that concrete. None of them found the same thing on purpose. None of them were told what they were protecting. Every single one of them was kept apart from the others, not just from the public, which means whatever ordered the silence wasn't trying to hide a discovery from us. It was making sure no one person ever saw enough of it to know what they had actually found. Maybe it was never a vault. Maybe it was a perimeter. And perimeters aren't built to keep people out. Stone eventually crumbles, maps eventually leak, and a heartbeat never stops looking for a way out.